Why do I have that in my garden? Because I thought I saw a hummingbird fly by. Because
Let's go.
I know y'all got no attention span, so here are the 30 plus items I'm going to talk about. You're welcome. Now we got that out of the way. If you're at the beginning of your gardening journey, this is the video for you. So I started seriously gardening about 6 months ago in February, and after about a month or two, I started to write down all these little things. It's like, oh, I wish I knew this before I started. And so, like you're probably doing right now, and I had done a bunch of research, but I found out kind of like in hindsight, they were by people that were great experts, but they were like in year 5, 10, 15 of their gardening journey. So a lot of these basic things were just kind of like natural to them, and they weren't really covered. If you've seen Taken, there's a scene where Liam Neeson's talking to his boss at the end, and he's like, you've been behind a desk so long, you forgot what the weight of a loaded gun feels like. And so that's what it kind of feels like is that a lot of these basic things aren't covered. So I'm a beginner providing beginner information to you. I'm just like a real dedicated summer of gardening ahead of you. So let's get you caught up. And without further ado, let's jump right into the video. Oh, and don't worry, I got you. Let's get it. Number one, as corny as it may sound, I want you to dream big. You probably at this point watched a lot of gardening tours for inspiration, or you've been on gardening tours, or you just seen movies with like crazy gardens, houses, etc. You're like, man, if I had the money, I would do that. Or how did they do this X, Y, and Z? Well, why not try to do it in your yard? What's stopping you? You're probably thinking money, right? Yeah, that's kind of the case, sort of. But here's the thing: all those great palatial, maybe acreage too, all those palatial estates, they're not built in a day. Like even the garden tours, if you watch them, folks will say, "Hey, we built this section year one, this year two, year three, year four." Just do that on your in your yard on a smaller scale. So I got a normal size backyard. You'll see it in a bit. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of building things out by section. So if you've seen these tours, you see like these trellises, these water features, these ponds, these big boulders and stuff in the back, and you want that in your yard, plan it out. It may take you 10 years to get there. Depending on your budget, do 1/10 of that each year. Because 5, 10 years from now, you'll much rather have 50% of your dream garden than 100% of a garden where you're like, eh, I don't know if I really like this. I want to redo it. I don't really use it because I don't like it that much. So dream big. And when I talk about time passing, I want you, can you see this yet? You can see the bottom of this tree right there. We'll step out and take a look at it in a bit. But when we started, that tree was maybe 6, 7 feet tall. You could probably get that tree for like $80. Now this tree is probably 30 feet tall, and you couldn't. It'd be tens of thousands of dollars to get that tree in my backyard now. You'd have to haul it from somewhere. You have to somehow get it between these two houses. You'd have to plant it. You have to rip up the sprinkler system. You couldn't pay. It'd just be an exorbitant amount of money in order to get that tree in there now because time is also your friend. So when you're thinking of your dream garden, think of what the 3, 4, 5 year plan is and plan accordingly. Your future self will thank you immensely. Quick addendum to this big three I'm about to name. You need to find your why. We talked about inspiration from other people, but your inspiration can't be Crystal's garden looks great. I'm going to build a garden. Your inspiration can't be I'm 40. I don't know what to do. I guess I should start a garden. That's going to help you start, but it's not going to keep you consistent through this process. I'll give a couple examples of my whys in different sections of the garden. Let's talk about this back area of my garden and why I am consistent back here. I love nature. I love to watch bees. I love to watch hummingbirds. I can stand bugs. I know they're healthy to the environment. Therefore, I built this area back here under the tree so I can sit and kind of observe everything in my garden. Let's talk about another why right here. This hummingbird feeder. Why do I have that in my garden? Because I thought I saw a hummingbird fly by. Because of my wife. She loves hummingbirds, but not necessarily the nature part of it, the bugs and stuff that come with pollinating plants. So I have one of these hummingbird feeders in front of the house, in front of the window in her office. And that's why I learned how to make hummingbird nectar. So we'd have basically an unlimited supply. And I got a video on that as well. So those are a couple of my whys while I'm in the garden. Find yours. Number two, you need to figure out what hardiness zone you're in or what gardening zone you're in. And that's basically the temperature at which plants can survive during the winter. It's very important because if you're buying perennials, which are plants that come back every year, and you're in zone, let's say 5, and these plants you buy, they look great, but they're only hardy in zones 7 through 11. The higher the zone, the warmer it is. You basically bought an annual being a plant that only comes back yearly. So very, very, very important to find out what zone you're in before you buy any plants. It is very simple. Just Google, what zone am I in? Number three is sponsored by this hot Texas sun. You can see what it's done to my garden a little bit. You need to find out where the sun is in your garden at all times of day. When you're finding plants, you look at them, you'll see they'll say like full shade, partial sun, partial sun, full sun. Full sun being 6+ hours, like partial shade being like 1 to 2 hours. But it's very important to actually monitor that, not assume you know where it is. I've kind of got lucky in my yard because I made assumptions that certain parts were full shade that actually weren't at all. And so what you need to do is monitor the sun at like 8 o'clock, see where it's at in your garden. 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2, 4, 6, and sort of till sundown, because you want to make sure you're not getting plants that'll be scorched during the sun. You're not getting plants that are not blooming because they're not getting the adequate amount of sun. I'll give you a quick example in my garden on how different the sun is in certain parts that I did not realize at the time. So here's my what do you call this vegetable garden right here. And so back there where these citrus plants are, that is 12 hours of sun. Like right here, this part of the vegetable garden is like 6. This part where it just happens to work out is like 4 hours. And then over here is about 8 hours. And then there's a spot back there where I was sitting behind me where you may have saw that tree where it is 4 hours of sun. It's also important to know where the sun is during the morning and the evening, because full sun in the morning is drastically different than full sun at the afternoon. Because think about it, in the morning it's sun, but the sun hasn't fully heated up. Like right now, it's hot, but it's about 9 o'clock, and so I think it's maybe like 85 degrees. By like 11 or 12 back there, it's going to be 104 degrees. So things that are getting full sun in the afternoon have the joy of being baked and then also getting that full sun. So 6 hours in the evening full sun is not the same as 6 hours in the morning full sun. So you want to be cognizant of that. So for instance, this plant right here that is under a cloak, it's okay for 6 hours of full sun, but apparently not during the evening Texas heat, which is why it's under the shade right now. Number four, I want you to embrace the environment. There's probably stuff in your yard where you're like, man, I wish I could move this or that. Why is this tree in the way? Why is there a bunch of rocks here, or so forth? This right here has become my favorite part of the garden, and it's because of this tree. And so um, at first there was like no grass that would grow back here. Nothing would kind of grow as the tree got bigger and bigger. The roots take up the nutrients around it. It blots out the ground so the grass doesn't get any sun. So I was like, okay, let me build a place back here to hang out and sit. So it went from a place that I disliked and was hard to mow to, hopefully you can see me on camera here, a place where I can just kind of sit out and chill. This is one of my favorite spots to hang out during the morning, is this place right here. So make sure you're embracing the things that are in your garden, not just disliking them. Now there is some stuff you have to get rid of, but embrace, embrace, embrace. For number five, I'm about to embrace the environment and soak up some shade right here. So next, what I want you to do is actually set a budget. So you've dreamed big on what you want in your best case scenario. Don't skimp on anything. Now set a budget and see how feasible that is to do. Will it take you 1 year? Will it take you 5 years? Will it take you 10 years? Make sure you're setting a budget so that you know what's feasible in year one. You can execute that plan to the fullest, which goes to number 6. figure out what you can do yourself. There are lots of videos on YouTube on how to lay a walkway. You may have seen me do right there. I've done the edging in my yard. There's brick edging around there. A lot of stuff that you think may be hard is honestly more laborious than hard. Now, it won't be perfect. Like, let's see if we can look at these bricks I've laid down here. This brick pathway. Now, it's not 100% straight. It's about 95% of the way there, but you'll take a lot of pride in something that you've done yourself to, or more pride in something you've done 90% yourself than, paying somebody to do the job at 100%. Here's the thing, they may only do it 95% too. So see what you can DIY yourself. And that's a part of making sure you're laying out this plan over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many years. And just knock it out. Worst case scenario, you bought the supplies and someone else can do it for you. Before we jump to the next one, I'll say everything in my yard I built myself and I love it and I wouldn't change it for anything. Actually, some things actually I have changed, and because I built them myself, I was fine doing it. I knew how to move a piece here or there. DIY if you can. Next, visit a couple local nurseries and see what you like, don't like, what's a feasible plan for stuff in your area that you can actually buy. You can always buy stuff online, but when you're starting off, in my opinion, you want to buy stuff in a nursery because you can actually see it. You can talk to folks, ask questions about it. You also can do the same thing at like a Home Depot or Lowe's. Like folks hate on those, but I bought a lot of stuff you see in my garden from Home Depot and Lowe's as well as my local nursery. But it'll help you get an idea of what stuff looks like at different levels of maturity, depending on the type of nursery you go to, and the cost as well. So kind of do your scoping out on what is out there that can potentially go in your garden. And also, when you're going to like the Lowe's and Home Depots, you want to look for stuff like if you're planning to DIY stuff yourself, like these bricks, like that pathway yourself. I went to um, a masonry, I don't think is the word, but a place that sold big rocks and stuff like that. And I was able to actually get these for at the bulk price, right? So they just sell these by the pound, whether you buy one rock that may weigh 10 pounds or 1,000 pounds of rock. So yeah, if you're looking to lay a stone pathway, check out your local stone supply place. I think is what it may be called, sort of. All right. Number 8, make sure you're focusing on an actual color scheme. Like a big differentiator between like gardens that look amazing and gardens that look a little bit junky is they'll have a whole bunch of different color pots and stuff. And you go throughout my garden, you'll see that most things are either um, gray or white, and I have some wooded ones as well. So you want to make sure the color scheme goes through the whole thing, and that's with pots and all. It's also with your plants. So like I said, I'm in year 1 of the garden, so a lot of things do not bloom the first year. I think they say, or I say, it crawls the first year, it kind of walks the year 2, and then it balls year 3. It may ball year 2, so hopefully we can ball out here year 2 with some of these plants that are just getting their roots into the grounds. Like pretty much all my flowering plants, they're yellow. I have some spots of red around the garden as well, so you want to make sure there's a constant theme in your garden when you're planting stuff, not just a bunch of things here and there. It just doesn't flow properly. If you go look at some of the lovely gardens, you'll see a lot of them are monochromatic. Actually, not monochromatic, because mono would mean one, but semi monochromatic, meaning they may only have like 2 or 3 colors in their garden. Now, hopefully, you haven't bought anything yet, because I just said think about it and go to places and look for stuff. Next, what you want to do is actually lay out stuff and see how it will look in your garden. For instance, if you want a pathway in your garden, take the hose, lay it out, and see what the pathway looks like. If you want a trellis in your garden, maybe put like a box there where the trellis is. If you want a border in your garden, lay out some, I guess like some, you can buy this, some masonry string, kind of like this thin white string or anything that's long, and you can lay it out in the garden and see what things look like. And just like wait a week and think, huh, do I really like this stuff here? I'll give you an example. When I first thought of this pathway actually went like this. And every day when I came out to my garden, I would walk the pathway, and the trellis was over there too. And I was like, this doesn't really seem right. It's not like a natural way people would walk. Like you're coming out the back door and you're taking this quick like left angle. It doesn't really make any sense. And I also I'd actually bought the trellis. I didn't, once again, I didn't have my advice to follow. And I put the trellis and the jasmine that's growing on the trellis over there. And I was like, huh, it's not really getting enough sun. It was only getting like 1 to 2 hours of sun. I cut a branch or two on the tree to see if it would help out. And I was like, this ain't going to work. And so luckily I hadn't put down this pathway because that would have been a beast to move. And I was able to facilitate this pathway. Like for instance, this pathway even was different. And so I would just walk it every day, and I was like, okay, this is kind of like a natural path to walk in order to get to this area over here. Um, yeah, so make sure you're laying out the path and waiting. Try to wait at least a week to see if you really love it. Number 10, weird angle, right? So this is the essentially the view from my window in the house. I want you to look out the window of your house and see, hey, do I like what it looks like from inside the house? And that's very important because if you can't see it from inside your house, you're probably going to forget about it and not use it. Out of sight, out of mind. Now and finally, you're allowed to buy some stuff. Get the stuff, lay it out, and wait. So, like, I laid out this pathway right here, or this border, excuse me, and I just waited to see if I liked how it looked. And guess what? The pathway actually changed. It did not look like this when I first started, but since I hadn't done the work of digging up the dirt, putting down rocks, putting down gravel, putting down the bricks on top of it, making sure everything was straight, I was able to much easier move the stuff than if I put all the um, sweat and muscle effort, let's just say effort, into actually laying down this path. I had done like a curved path, but the curved path just wasn't going to work. And also, like if you mow your own lawn, the curvier path, remember, that's the harder it is to actually mow that part of your um, lawn. So for instance, I'm going to show you this right here in my garden. This is like one of the worst things to actually mow because you kind of see how the grass is a little bit higher there. So you have to you kind of mow around it, and then you actually have to go in there and edge it, and often have to actually hand pull some of that grass because it gets between the rocks. So just something to think about when you're planning out these super intricate curvy paths. But number 11 or 12 is actually to get some safety stuff. Make sure you're getting gloves, make sure you're getting shovels and stuff you can actually use in the garden. You want to get stuff that is not cheap because you'll be using this stuff over the course of the next 5 or so years. Gloves are very important when you're doing gardening work too. You can't see it right now, but I was doing some digging and I didn't have gloves on because I'm just digging. And I was digging and the shovel stopped, or the handle of the shovel stopped. My hand kept going and it ripped some skin off of my hands. And also, like I said, tools. Actually, let me show you real quick what I built this garden with. This little mini kid shovel, but is what I use to pretty much build everything in this garden and dig every single hole. But for whatever reason, this part of the shovel is super strong, and I don't have to dig super deep for what I was doing. As you can see, most of the stuff is in pots as well. But I did pretty much this whole garden with this bad boy right here, this spade, and I did borrow a tamper for this part right here, like this kind of thing right there. Luckily, a neighbor let me borrow their tamper. But honestly, that's what I used to build the whole garden. So, but get you a better shovel than that. But really, no excuse when it comes to DIY. Well, there are excuses, and getting the proper equipment. Please do not buy this cheap, easy to install, no dig edging. It's easy to install, but it sucks, bro. Like, you'll put it down, and after about a month or so, you realize, man, this clashes with the grass, the design, aesthetic. It doesn't look good, but you paid money for it, and you laid it down, so you'll leave it there for that year. It'll be there throughout the summer. It'll start to warp, look all wiggly. It just doesn't look good. That's why I have some of this in my hand, because I ripped it up and I put down these bricks right here. It's almost the exact same price for like a 35, 70 yards of this as it is for these bricks. These bricks are 88 cents at Lowe's. They go on sale every now and then for half off. And so think however long you need this thing to be, and then just say, how much will it cost to put down bricks? Now, bricks take a lot more effort. There's more cost than just the bricks. You want to put down rocks under. You want to put down graveling. It's more labor intensive evolution. But once again, you're in here for the next hopefully 5, 10, however long you plan to be in this house, years. And your future you will thank you that you spent the um, hard work putting down this than just going with this, because you will eventually rip it up. Trust me on that one. 14. How are you going to move big items? So you'll be surprised, or maybe not, how heavy things get once you put a plant in it, put dirt. You have a nice quality pot. By the way, if you've been pot shopping because you've looked and gone to certain stores, I want you to guess how much I paid for this. It's about 20 inches wide, or 22 inches tall, 20 inches wide. It is thick. Pause. Um, I'll talk about it in a later part of the video, but this probably weighs maybe like 70, 80 pounds, and it's hard to and awkward to lift up. So when you're planning stuff and moving things around, like I have a lot of pots in my garden, think about, how am I going to move this item, or does this need to be its final resting place, for lack of a better term? All right, we're doing a part two, and in that part, we're going to talk about what to do when you're actually in your garden, what to plant, how to protect the plants, when to water, issues you may deal with, more to do with the design element, where to get things on the low, and so forth. So you watch this much, remember, dear beginner, none of this matters if you don't actually begin to execute on the information. So like, subscribe, or don't. Your loss. Tell a friend or a foe, and see you in part two. Oh, you probably can click like here or something in order to find it. All right.